a lot. I know it's been a hectic year with the transition from card mail and everything like that. So in regards to technology, being AVP has been kind of difficult in that sense because it's been a lot of transition through technology. But I can tell you next year is going to be amazing. We're going to have online diploma trackers for all incoming freshmen and things like that. So they've been great. The only new thing that I want to mention that we are currently working on, we're trying to set up a scholarship program within the SPAD department in which it would resemble a McConnell Scholars, Brown Scholars type program and bring in big names from athletics and get, because SPAD is one of our premier programs on campus and we would like it to have a similar type program. So that's what you can expect throughout the summer and throughout the next year. So thank you all for working with me.
Thank you. John Weber, Services Vice President.
All right, I too am just trying to wrap up a lot of loose ends. Working with Kara to continue to transition. We've got a meeting with Larry Owsley coming up where we've been doing several calls. Well, I have, Kara has not yet. Some of the things that have come out of that is that we're going to put speed bumps in on Greek Row and behind Kerrs, especially by the Province Bridge. We're also working with Taylor Crush and Arts and Sciences Council to determine where to put the bike racks that they will be building, the Sculpture Club will be building. So let me know if you have any suggestions for that. That should go in mid-May. And then we've continued to try to talk with Barry Barker with TARC about getting a TARC shelter downtown 5th and Market, and then along the way for the arena shuttle, and expanding it along the route that we expanded this year. As well as putting stickers on the routes that take you to campus just so that it's a little bit more user-friendly. Also talked with David Martin and Larry Owsley a little bit about working with HSC students to improve the dining situation. Some options would be to try to get Calistoga on the meal plan, which is not looking very likely, but if that doesn't work, to do something along the lines of an a la carte even until we can do something bigger. And it would only be opt-in for HSC students, of course, so that you could get better rates for what you eat. And we're also continuing to explore options for the class act space. And I don't guess, are we talking much about that right now? Okay. That's pretty much it. There's some other things. Check it out online if you want to. Otherwise, just let me know on some of those feedback things. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Billy Garland, Chief of Staff.
You can tell from the members of my other members of the cabinet, this tends to be a rather savvy, nicest thing. And I will continue that because as a person that was formerly on the outside looking in and writing about what I thought I saw, I want to tell you all thank you for how welcome you've been to an outsider and different perspective I've gained this year. So thank you very much for that. In terms of what staff is doing right now, we're all in transition. We've thrown that word around a lot tonight, it seems. But that extends far past myself or the directors, down to even the individual staff members, the people that have their positions that will be returning next year, or people that are going to fill in. They're doing everything they can to make sure that the next administration moves smoothly into existence. Also, Simon talked a little bit about the Greek forum. It was kind of unprecedented in the amount of Greeks that we had sit down together, especially Greek leaders, talk about issues facing the community and how to come together more solidly. We also have had people out doing voter registration in the past 2 weeks. We have one more voter registration event this Thursday. Thus far, for this semester, we have just broken 100 students that have been registered. That combined with the totals from last semester, I think we're nearing 300 students with one more day to go. So we've done really good work there as well. Plus, we're doing lots of blue books. And we've actually had some students that have taken the time to come by the SGA offices to pick up the blue books themselves. But the last thing I want to tell you guys about, obviously we have the banquet, but before we get to the banquet, we have a very special event. In order to kick out the old president and welcome in the new president, we're going to be having a special event which we're calling the Kickoff Send-Off. And for this, it's going to be at Prime on Thursday night, just so everybody knows we are inviting everyone here to come. And at this event, we're going to hear from the next administration. We're going to have a little bit of fun together. And we're also going to have a very special roast of Sana Akari herself. And so we're going to get to know her just a little bit better, too. So we did want to go ahead and extend that invitation to you guys as kind of a final farewell from the SGA Executive Pledge. But past that, thank you guys one more time.
Thank you. We're going to move on to reports of council, starting with public health. President Mehek Bajaj. There's someone from public health. All right. Law school president Daniel Chambers.
One quick announcement, Christy Wetter is the new Student Bar Association president. She's just like everybody else, still transitioning into the new phase, so she'll take care of that. We just had our student ticket lottery, and the students are in the process of picking in their ticket vouchers and taking them over to the SAC ticket office. Thank you.
Thank you. Middle school president Michael Hunzinger.
We had a March Madness bracket challenge to raise money for our pediatric fund, and it went really well. We also had a successful Moeller Open golf tournament 2 weekends ago. That also went very well, and we're having our year-end transition meeting this week to kind of usher in the new and kick out the old. And also the week after, next weekend is our annual dog show, and it's kind of a get together, have a cookout, and so it's going well.
Medical school president Zachary Sager.
So Downfall was a huge success. We had 50 more students bringing Downfall this year than we did last year. The Healthcare Classic, which is a 5K for the healing place, so the fund always helps coordinate and pay for, was a good success too. They raised, I think, like $5,500 for the healing place this year. And we're just transitioning with officers right now. Vander's going to be our new president, and Virginia's our new second-year vice president. We have a weird system, but I think that's about it.
Thank you. School president Travis Galt.
Hey everybody. Okay, let's see here. We recently had our Bourbon Trail Distillery tour, and it was a wonderful success. And special thanks to Senator Meyer, she's in the room, for organizing that. We are also in the midst of season ticket voucher distribution, and let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. And let's see here. We're finishing our elections up tomorrow. And also, too, over this summer, one of my goals is to try and embark on some fundraising opportunities. So I'm going to try and talk to UofL's advancement office to see if, just to see like what the process is. So if any of you all are interested next year, I'm going to try and do this the first couple of weeks of May. So send me an email.
Thank you. School president Kate Dennis.
Really, the only thing I have to report is we're working on transitioning the various council members.
All right, we'll move on to reports of boards and standing committees, starting with SGA Supreme Court, Alex Perlmeyer. SGA Senate Executive Board Chairman Steve Agrawal.
Before I get into the e-board report, just a couple quick things that I forgot in the executive report. First, we had a fee forum for students about the rec center today during lunchtime. We only had maybe 10 students or so. We have another one tomorrow, 12 to 1 in Shaw Auditorium. So please try to get the word out. Try to get as many people there as you can, because we want as much feedback as we can get for a rec center and for such a fee. Also, the meeting minutes from last week weren't posted on Blackboard until just before this meeting. So if you could look at those before we get into new business, either on your phones or your laptops, that would be great. Now, for the e-board report, we met last week. We discussed the court appointments, the Chick-fil-A resolution, and the rec center, all of which are coming up in old and new business. Thanks.
Not many meetings will you go to where someone says, pull your phone out and read it, but you can't say. I'm not very familiar. SGA Senate Executive Policy Board Chairman Curtis Brazell.
No report.
All right, SGA Senate Appropriations Committee Chairman Mike Shin.
Appropriations met just prior to this meeting. We had one case to review, and it'll be in new business.
Thank you. SGA Senate Development Board Chairman Travis Galt. SGA Senate Student Organizations Board Chairman Ben Joslin.
We met Tuesday and we've got 7 to bring up the new business. I just want to take some time to thank my committee, Catalin, Paul Mick, Katie Gardner, Linda Mercer, and Chris Day. We did, a lot of things different than just passing RSOs, and I want to thank all of you all for that.
SGA Senate Facilities Committee, Chairman Abby Smith.
No report.
SAB Liaison, Chairman Ben Donlin.
No report.
No report, okay. SGA Senate Safety and Parking Committee, Chairman Dwayne Dix.
No report.
SGA Senate Spirit Traditions Committee, Chairman Cody Grodick.
No report.
All right. SGA Senate Sustainability Committee, Chairman Deepa Patel.
No report.
No report, thank you. SGA Senate Student Engagement Committee, Chairman Kelsey Smithson. No report. All right. Okay, we're going into old business now, which will begin with the Student Recreation Center fees. Yep.
You all have a document in front of you that begins immediately after the agenda. This is essentially the document that I'm asking you to pass tonight. It was passed unanimously at E-Board last week. We discussed and changed a few things, so it is different from the one that was posted at last Senate meeting. The correct one was posted for this Senate meeting after the changes were made for E-Board. I will go over just the key points here. Obviously, page 4, the fee recommendation is the thing of most of highest interest. We're proposing a $98 a semester fee for all full-time students. This is all graduate, professional, undergrad. If you're a full-time student at the University of Louisville, you'll pay a $98 a semester fee for fall, spring, and summer. It's for incoming students beginning next fall, so fall 2011. So it'll be phased in beginning then. We're no longer charging intramural fees. We're no longer charging fitness class fees. And extended hours, more resources. You all know that, all that jazz. We essentially, at E-Board, you'll see related recommendations, have passed, it's on page 5, sorry. We've passed certain stipulations on this fee. So we're essentially saying that student government approves this fee given these circumstances. One of them is ensuring that construction won't begin until the parking spots that are being displaced are moved somewhere else. So like we said, we're trying to buy the Chevron property between Betty and the Province, turn that warehouse into a parking lot, and construction can't begin until we move those spots to that location. Also, since parking's being displaced, I know Vice President Sangoy had come up with the point that safety is going to be an issue because that parking is so far away from CP, for example. So we've asked that a second manned DPS shack be placed closer to the rec center in CP. There's already one essentially between Betty and Betty over by the Providence Bridge. And so this will be adding a second one that's about a second third away from CP. So at each third mark, you'll have a shack with a DPS officer on your way to CP from your car. This last piece, this wasn't a stipulation, but it was a suggestion. I know that all of those parking spots in that location are yellow parking spots, so they're residential. So unless you have a yellow spot, you can't park in those spots at any given time of the day. So we've asked that those parking spots, at least some of them, be considered for blue and red spots, so that if you have a valid university parking spot, you can still park there after 5:30, whatever that time might be. And those were essentially the added. Oh, and one more thing: if you pay into the system without seeing the rec center, so like next year's fall class is paying into a rec center pool without actually being able to physically see a rec center, we've asked that for each semester they pay the $98 fee and they don't have access to the rec center, that they get free access for 6 months after they graduate, which is, it has to take place immediately after graduation, and if you're not in Louisville, you can't take advantage of that opportunity. But that 6 month period, I know Dean Martis and I talked about this a little bit. E-Board passed it to where each semester, which includes a summer session, counts for 6 months. So if you pay the $98 fee for a fall, spring, and summer, then you're getting a year and a half after you graduate free access to the rec center. So you all can discuss that language if you all feel necessary. We thought that was valid, and so if you all think otherwise, then we can talk about any changes. But those are the main key highlights of this document, and I will let Amy take over from there.
All right, Mike.
One language change that I wanted to bring up was right, first paragraph under fee recommendation, the very last sentence, the 4850 fee would last throughout the life of the building. I wanted the language, or I would